we'll do is I'll starting the live transfer and then we'll do prayers. And then we can discuss. Okay, we'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Chekshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So what we'll do is we'll discuss one or two verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I'll leave some time for discussion also, so you can share your understanding and you can ask any questions so we can discuss. And then final 10 minutes we'll do some chanting together. Yeah, that's the format for today. Let me share my screen. How do you find that fellow? Let me see. Yeah, I have the verse open. Oh, interestingly, that page doesn't show. Let me see. I'll click on share again. Now it's okay. This is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a fourth canto. Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos. Has he discussed any verses from Srimad Bhagavatam also before with you all? Only Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam also? Any discussions
I
happened
think
before?
I think last week he started he did a couple verses of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Oh,
But
very good. Okay.
usually Bhagavad Gita, but I last week he did do Srimad Bhagavatam, at least
Oh, very
the
nice.
sessions that I have attended.
Sure, wonderful. Yeah, Prabhu selected this verse, so we'll discuss this. So it's fourth canto, 31st chapter, 10th verse. किं जन्मभिस्त्रिभिर्वेह सौक्रसावित्रयाज्ञिकै कर्मभिर्वा त्रयी प्रोक्तै पुंसो अपि विबुधायुषा. Okay, I'll read surnames and then we can take turns to read the purport also. That is it. Kim, what is the use? Janma bihi of births, tribihi, three, va, are, iha, in this world, Saukra by semen, Savitra by initiation, Yagnikai by becoming a perfect Brahmana, Karma bihi by activities, Va are Trayi in the Vedas, Proktai instructed, Pumsaha of a human being, Api even, Vibuddha of the demigods, Ayusha with the duration of life. So I'll read the translation. Translation purport by Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. A civilized human being has three kinds of births. The first birth is by a pure father and mother. And this birth is called birth by semen. The next birth takes place when one is initiated by the spiritual master. And this birth is called Savitra. The third birth called Yagnika takes place when one is given the opportunity to worship the Lord Vishnu. Despite the opportunities for attaining such births, even if one gets the lifespan of a demigod, if one does not actually engage in service of the Lord, everything is useless. Similarly, one's activities may be mundane or spiritual, but they're useless if they're not meant for satisfying the Lord. Okay, so can one to can some of you take turns to read like 2, 3 paragraphs like that each? One of you can read purport.
Yeah, I can read, Prabhu.
Sure.
Um, Purport. The word sakra
Saukra Janma.
janma means taking birth by seminal discharge. Animals can take their birth in this way too. However, a human being can be reformed from janma as recommended in the Vedic civilization. Excuse me. Before the birth takes place or before father and mother unite, there is a ceremony called Garbhadana Samskara, which must be adopted. This Garbhadana Samskara is especially recommended for higher castes, especially the Brahmana caste. It is said in the Shastras that if the Garbhadana Samskara is not practiced among the higher castes, the entire family becomes Shudra. It is also stated that in this age of Kali, everyone is Shudra due to the absence of the Garbhadana Samskara. This is the Vedic system. According to the Pancharatrika system, however, even though everyone is a Shudra due to the absence of the Garbhadana Samskara, if a person has built but a little tendency to become Krishna conscious, he should be given the chance to elevate himself to this transcendental platform of devotional service. Our Krishna consciousness movement adopts this Pancharatrika Vidhi as advised by Srila Sanatan Goswami, who says, Yatta Kanatam Yati Kam Sayam Rasa Vedanata Tatta Diksha Vidyanena Vijatam Jayate Naram. As bell metal, when mixed with mercury, is transformed to gold, a person, even though not golden pure, can be transformed into a Brahmin or Vija simply by the initiation process. Hari Bhakti Visala 2, chapter 2, verse 12. Thus, if one is initiated by a proper person, he can be accepted as twice born immediately. In our consciousness movement, we therefore offer the student his first initiation and allow him to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly and following the regulative principles, one becomes qualified to be initiated as a Brahmana. Because unless one is qualified Brahmin, he cannot be allowed to worship Lord Vishnu. This is called Yagnika Janma. In our Krishna consciousness society, unless one is twice initiated, first by chanting Hare Krishna and second by the Gayatri Mantra, he is not allowed to enter the kitchen or deity room to execute duties. However, when one is elevated to the platform on which he can worship the deity, his previous birth does not matter.
Thank you, Nikhil. Let's ask someone else to do further reading. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure.
चण्डालोऽपि द्विजाश्रेष्ठो हरिभक्ति पारायणः हरिभक्ति विहीनश्च द्विजोऽपि स्वपक्षदमः. Even if one is born in the family of Chandala, if one engages in the devotional service of the Lord, he becomes the best of Brahmanas. But even a Brahmana who is devoid of devotional service is on the level of the lowest dog eater. If a person is advanced in devotional service, it doesn't matter whether he was born in Chandala family. He becomes purified. As Sri Prahlad Maharaj said, Viprad Dusad Guna Itad Aravinda Naba Padaravinda Vimuka Chvapacham Varistam. Even if one one is a Brahmana and is qualified with all the Brahmanical qualifications, he is considered degraded if he is averse to worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if a person is attached to the service of the Lord, he becomes glorified even if he is born in a Chandala family. Indeed, such a Chandala can deliver not only himself but all his family preceders. Without devotional service, even a proud Brahmana cannot deliver himself, and what to speak of his family. In many instances in the Shastras, it is seen that even a Brahmana has become a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and Mlecha or non-Brahmana. And there are many instances of ones being born a Kshatriya or Vaishya or even lower, and in the 18th year, attaining elevation to the Brahmanical platform by the process of initiation. Therefore, Narada Muni says, Yasya yal lakshanam proktam kumso varna vivyachakam yad anyatrapi susteta tat patinavya munis dishet. It is not a fact that because one is born in Brahmana family is automatically a Brahmana. He has a better chance to become a Brahmana. But unless he meets all the Brahmanical qualifications, he cannot be accepted as such. On the other hand, the Brahmanical qualifications are found in a person of a Sudra. He should immediately be accepted as a Brahmana. To substantiate this, there are many quotations from Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Bharatwaja Samhita, and the Pancharatra, as well as many other scriptures. As far as the duration of life of the demigods,
Yeah, maybe
concerning
Nitin can read from here.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. Nitin, you're on mute, I think.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
As far as the duration of life of the demigods concerning Lord Brahma, it is said, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yet Brahmano Vidua Ratrim Yugas Sahasranatham Te Horata Vido Janaha. The duration of one day of Brahma is 1000 times greater than the 4 yugas, aggregating 4 crores 3,20,000 years, and Brahma's night is one of the same duration. Brahma lives for 1,100 years of such days and nights. The word Vibhuddhayusa indicates that even if one gets a long lifespan, his lifespan is useless if he is not a devotee. A living entity is the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord, and unless he comes to the platform of devotional service, his lifespan, good birth, glorious activities, and everything else are null and void.
Thank you so much, Nitin. So this one, so if you read the translation again, basically a civilized human being has three kinds of births. So you notice civilized human being. So that means for a Sudra, there is only one birth. So probably we touched on this topic. I'll mention that about Varna and Ashramas. So, but the three kinds of birth here is birth by semen, by initiation, and then given the opportunity to worship Lord Vishnu. So the main point of this verse is, so even if somebody is able to live for a long time, but if he's not engaging in devotional service, everything useless, number one. Number two, even if somebody thinks I'm doing spiritual activity, but unless he's doing the spiritual activity to satisfy the Lord, it is useless. Like that, those are 2 points being described here. Yeah. So we'll discuss briefly in this verse. Essentially, anybody knows what are the 4 varnas and what are the 4 ashramas?
Varnashram system, Prabhuji. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi.
Those are called 4 ashramas. Remember, varna, ashrama means ashrama portion you described 4 nicely. Yeah. Anybody else knows varnas, 4 varnas? No, how about Shashank? You know that also? Varnas also?
I don't remember.
No problem. No problem. How about I will tell the first clue and let us see if somebody remembers. Brahmachari, you told about what did you Shashank, you mentioned about the Brahmana Kshatriya?
Oh, no, Prabhuji. Oh, okay, Prabhuji. Now I got it. Yeah. The four varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra.
Yes.
And in Varnasam system, it's Brahmachari, Grihastha, and Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi.
Those are ashrama.
Ashrama.
First one is Varnas. Four Varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Like that, right? So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes how these are not based on who we are born to. For example, I'm born to a Brahmana father, I become Brahmana. I'm born to Kshatriya father, I'm Kshatriya. Not like that. It's based on guna and karma. That means based on my qualities that I have. What kind of qualities I have? Do I have Brahmana qualities, Kshatriya qualities, Vaishya qualities, or Sudra qualities, like that? And then what kind of occupation I'm doing? I'm doing Brahmana occupation, Sudra occupation, Vaishya occupation, Kshatriya occupation, like that, based on that. So generally, Brahmanas means like educators, for example. Those are Brahmana, or priests, like that. And Kshatriyas means administrators, management kind of people. Then Vaishyas means those who engage in agriculture, cow production, or even business also. And then Sudras means they just serve any of these three classes. They just take a job and work for them, basically, like that. So those are four classes of Varnas. So now Prabhupada started, the Bhagavatam verse talks about civilized human being. Civilized human being usually is in one of these three classes. So basically, the verse talked about what are the three verses talking about. One is Saukra Janma. Saukra Janma means that we are all born from our biological parents, mother and father. That's the first birth we got when we were a child, a small child. Now, when we take up Krishna consciousness, then when we identify a spiritual master, and by the mercy of Krishna, we get a spiritual master, and then we take something called Diksha or initiation. That means we are surrendering to him, saying that I would like to take your guidance. I will follow your instructions throughout the life. Please take in charge of me. Please help me to progress in devotional service. That commitment we are telling. At the same time, we take some vows also with the initiation. In ISKCON, the vows are chanting 16 rounds and then following the four regulative principles. There is no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex, like that. So that is the second birth this verse is talking about. Where after that we'll continue practicing chanting of the holy name and follow the regulations, follow the instructions of a spiritual master, and continue to help others also as in the process, like by service. So now the third birth is described is Yagnika. Basically, somebody is getting qualified to become Brahmana. How does he become qualified to Brahmana? By developing Brahmanical qualities and Brahmanical duties. That's how they become elevated to Brahmana qualities. And when somebody has chanted for some time and become purified and got some Brahmanical qualities, then spiritual master gives them second initiation, we call it, or Brahmana initiation, we call it. At that time, spiritual master gives them Gayatri mantra. So from then onwards, you can chant Gayatri mantra also, along with Hare Krishna mantra is never gone. That is the main mantra to chant. Then they chant Gayatri mantra 3 times a day, Brahmanas. So that is a third birth this verse is referring to. Now, other point it is saying is in this world, there are very few parents follow ritual of Garbhadana Samskara, where we pray to Supreme Lord and request to send a proper good quality soul like that before mother and father have conception, before they have intercourse for conception, basically. That's called Garbhadana Samskara. That means it's not just a secret affair. It's a published that we are combining for a purpose of generating children, like that. So that Garbha Samskara, if it is done, then a good quality soul enters the womb of the lady finally. Basically, so now very few families still do that now in Kali Yuga. That's why Prabhupada is describing. That's why most of the people are Sudra in Kali Yuga. Because unless you do the Garbhadha Samskara, then there's no good quality soul will not come. That means lower quality soul will come. Then they are like Sudra, like that is describing. So now, however, good thing is any quality soul doesn't matter. Even if somebody is a Sudra doesn't matter. Somebody is Kshatriya Vaishya doesn't matter. Everyone can be engaged in Pancharatrika system. Prabhupada is writing here. Pancharatrika system is a system wherein everybody, uh, because there is a spiritual master, will give initiation to the disciple, and the person is engaged in deity worship, worshipping of the deities at home or at the temple, like that. So, like how on the bell metal can be converted into gold by mercury. So similarly, a person who's a Sudra quality can be elevated to become Brahmana, can be elevated to higher standards of life by initiation by spiritual master. That's what Prabhupada is describing here. And then Prabhupada is describing how we talked about the first initiation where somebody takes vows to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the second initiation, which is Brahmanical initiation. After that, in our Baltimore, for example, ISKCON temple, only somebody is Brahmin initiated, they are allowed to worship the deities. They can do arti, they can give bath to the Lord, like that, Abhishekam to the Lord, like that, directly. And then they are also allowed to cook for deities. Only they can cook for deities, Brahmanas. Not others cannot cook for the deities. Why? Because they are already purified sufficiently. So they can do service purely for Krishna. They can do with regulation for Krishna at a particular time. And they can do with cleanliness. That's why they are given this opportunity to serve Krishna directly. In deity worship, two main things are cleanliness and also punctuality. These are two important things for a Brahmana to cultivate, to do deity worship nicely. Of course, more than that, there are many Brahmanic qualities. One is meant to cultivate, but these are two essential things for deity worship. For example, doing austerity is the quality for Brahmana. Being satisfied is the quality of Brahmana. Controlling senses is the quality of Brahmana, like that. Now, yeah, Prabhupada is writing how Prabhupada is quoting different scriptures to quote how, irrespective of how somebody is born, which caste is born, if he is trained in Krishna consciousness, then even a Chandala means somebody even below Shudra also. They don't follow even Sudra's rule also. Even Chandala also, if he does devotional service, he can become the best of Brahmanas. That is the point being raised here by Prabhupada. But somebody is born in a Brahmana family, but if it doesn't do devotional service, it can be degraded to Sudra also by qualities. Like that, Prabhupada is describing here. So now, another point Prabhupada is describing is, if somebody is doing devotional service, even if he's not Brahmana family, but because the fact is doing devotional service, bhakti, then he can deliver not only himself, but also all his family, ancestors, and next generations coming up also. Many of them. Prahlad Maharaj, Narsimhadev tells Prahlad Maharaj, 21 generations are gone for you. Because of your devotional service, 21 generations are liberated, like that. So like that, Prabhupada is describing that. So now, so if we should become attached to the devotional service of Krishna, that's all we can benefit all our family members also. On the contrary, if someone is Brahmana, but they are not able to, they're not attached to service of the Lord, they're not doing devotional service of the Lord, then they're not purified. So such a person is not considered fortunate. Such a person is not glorified. because they're worse than such and Sudra also, even though they're Brahmanical by birth. So that is the other point Prabhupada is making here in this purport. Let me go to the next section, last paragraph. So here Prabhupada is talking about Brahma's lifetime. So, and remember the verse was talking about if somebody has a big lifespan like Brahma, but if he doesn't engage in devotional service, then he's useless, life is useless. So what is the lifespan of Brahma? Prabhupada is indicating the purport. So all of you might know that Vedic time goes in cyclical. That means Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and then Kali Yuga, like that it comes. And then after Kali Yuga again comes Satya Yuga, like that. So like this, these four yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga, are called one yuga cycle. Like that, if you take 1,000 of yuga cycles, then there is just 12 hours of Lord Brahma. And then 12 hours of night also, same 1,000 yuga cycles. This one yuga cycle is 4,320,000 years, like that. Can you imagine so long time? So now 1,000 yuga cycles are only 12 hours of his day, and 1,000 yuga cycles are Brahma's night. Like that, if you take his day and night like that is month, year, like that. If average life is 100 years, so is billions of trillions of years, like that he will live basically Burma. But if somebody is not doing devotion service to satisfy the Lord, that life is essentially useless, like that is said. Why? Because if you're not doing devotion service, you will not progress to a higher realm of eternality, bliss, and Satchita and knowledge, like that. So that's what is differing here. That we are an eternal surveyor of Krishna. But unless we come to platform devotion service, our lifespan, good birth, glorious activities, and everything we are doing are null and void, like that. So our human birth is very valuable. So we should utilize that human form of life for engaging in devotion service. So that is the main point being told. And to do that, we take the guidance of spiritual master who can help us to become a suited devotion service. Now, last point in the verse is being described is if anything mundane or spiritual, if you're doing activity, they're all useless if they're not satisfying the Supreme Lord. That's an important point. So, whatever we do in bhakti or a devotee does anything in the life, not only bhakti, is actually bhakti, and he's doing it for the satisfaction of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, like that. That's what we are also cultivating in practicing devotion service, like that. Yeah. So I'll pause here to see if you have any comments further uh, on this verse, 10th verse. Let me know. Any comments? What did you understand? If you have any questions like that, you can share. Each of you get the opportunity, you can share.
Prabhu,
Prabhuji, I have.
oh,
Yeah,
go ahead, Prabhu.
yeah, please go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you, thank you. For me, Prabhuji, I thought that it makes it very, very simple to understand what's important and what's not important in this life, and also uh, it I think it kind of let me know that personally that I don't have a lot of time, that I should try to do the have a sense of urgency and perform devotional service sincerely. That's what I got out of it.
Very nice, Nick Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead, Shashank Prabhu, next.
Prabhuji, I have a small doubt, Prabhuji. Why we chant the Gayatri mantra again after the second Brahmana initialization with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra?
Ah,
Why we again chant the Gayatri mantra, Prabhuji? So Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is powerful than Gayatri mantra, right,
yeah.
Prabhuji? But
It's
again,
powerful only.
and also in Bhagavad Gita also they said it's not required to pray for the demigods uh, when we pray for Krishna, like that it's mentioned of Prabhuji. Like, so then why we again chant Gayatri mantra?
Oh, very nice, very
So
nice.
that
Sure, I'll mention, but still you need to share what you understood, okay, later on, okay? So
okay,
I'll
Prabhuji.
answer the question first. So basically, Hare Krishna mantra is very powerful, that's true. But if somebody has a Brahminical qualification, somebody is purified sufficiently, then if you chant Gayatri mantra helps them to take benefit of the Hare Krishna mantra even more like that. Now, what is the Gayatri mantra? We're not supposed to discuss a lot of details about Gayatri mantra until Brahman initiation is done. But I'll mention the high level thing. High level thing is Gayatri mantra is, some people have misconception that Gayatri mantra is used to worship sun god, like that. Some people have misconceptions. But actually, we chant Brahma Gayatri, that is worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. So it's not worshipping any other demigod. So that is why in the ISKCON or any parampara, in ISKCON parampara, Gaudiya Vaishnava parampara, for worshipping deities, a devotee is initiated into the Brahmanical initiation, which includes giving Gayatri mantra and the sacred thread also like that. So makes sense. It's not for worshipping of demigods. It's worshipping the Supreme Lord only. Gayatri mantra also to increase the meditation, to purify, to make us more suitable to get the benefit from Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That does it make sense? Any questions?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, no questions, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure. What did
Thank
you,
you,
anything
Prabhuji.
else you understood from class? You share now.
Yes, Prabhuji. Even if we are a Chandala, come from the Chandala family, it doesn't matter if we go in Krishna conscious. It doesn't matter which biological family you are from. So it's based on the qualification, not from the birth, like that it's mentioned. And also it explains the life cycle of the Brahma. So and all things. And yeah, that's it, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank
Shashank.
you, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Nitin Prabhu. You are in mute, Nitin Prabhu. You can share.
I think he has some technical issues, Prabhuji.
Okay, no problem.
Mm.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions before we go to the chanting? Maybe, or we can discuss one more verse also. But let me see. How big is that verse? Yeah, they go together actually. We can do it together. This verse also. But 7:05, right? We have 7:30 only. So let me see. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes max we have. We may not be able to complete the whole thing. Okay, let's do it next week. We can do it maybe. So we can chant one round together. Is that okay for all of you?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
fine.
Prabhuji.
Sure, let's do it. I hope you're all getting ready with beads. Yeah, you can unmute yourself also if you like. Or, that's all better, but whatever you like also is fine. Yeah. Let us chant together. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Nityananda, Shri Advaita
Prabhu
Gadadhara,
Nityananda,
Bhakta
Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Okay, we'll chant together then. Everybody can chant at their pace also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
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 Ram Hare Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram.
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Hare, Shri
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta.
It all done also?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll meet again next week. Next week we'll meet on Monday only. Today I could not meet yesterday, that's why I changed it to Tuesday. But otherwise Monday 6:30 we'll meet again. Yeah. So,
Thank you.